This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it
shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Pope Francis students honor our veterans. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story coming up.
I'm Nick Morganelli. We'll meet confirmation students that packed some holiday food for local veterans.
And 50 years of service, a longtime Sister of Providence employee who also happens to be a Bright Side baby receives special recognition. These stories are coming your way next on Reel to Reel. Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Last week we marked Veterans Day, a day in which we honor all those who've served in the military protecting our freedom. Recently, students from Pope Francis Prep dedicated a whole day to community service in honor of our veterans. Carolee McGrath joined them for this event and also spoke with Father Jeff Ballou, a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force and chaplain. They discussed the importance of praying for the men and women who have dedicated their lives to protecting us, especially given all that's happening in the world today.
Bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced, for the sacrifices they made, for their many different...
On a cold November morning, students from Pope Francis Preparatory School gathered at St. Michael's Cemetery in Springfield with a single mission: to honor all veterans. The students placed flags at the graves of every veteran. It was part of an all-day service project for Veterans Day.
I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete.
Veterans Day is personal for Bobby McDonough. His brother serves in the Army.
Especially when something starts happening in the world, we instantly think, is he being put on alert? And where is he going?
Bobby is a member of the Christian leadership team at Pope Francis, which led the service day.
This is important because the veterans gave up so much for us. It's important to give back to the community and show that we support them and that we care about what they did and that we are thankful for their service.
Mackenzie Rivers is also a senior in Christian leadership.
It's important to be here today because veterans, they have done so much for us. They have fought for our country, and even though it's a cold day outside today, it's just so easy to give back to them and what they did for us.
As we are ever mindful of the cost paid for the liberty we possess, we ask you to bless the members of our armed forces.
John Anziano is the director of campus ministry at Pope Francis.
As a Catholic parochial school, we're allowed to have a school like this and practice our faith because of these brave men and women that are veterans that have been willing to sacrifice their lives so that we have freedom of religion.
Students also flagged graves at Gate of Heaven Cemetery in Springfield. Others did yard work for elderly residents. Some students stayed back at the school to create patriotic peace poles to be given to veterans at the school's Veterans Day service, November 10th. As Catholics, we really need to be praying for our veterans, their families, and all active duty military every single day, asking our Lord Jesus to walk with them, to give them courage, and to protect them. Father Jeff Ballou, the pastor of St. Catherine's in Springfield, is also a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Air Force and a military chaplain.
You think of all the men and women who you deployed with. You think of all the servicemen and women of all branches of the service, and you think of what we do and what we give up. And you think of, by our service, enables the people in America, wherever they live, not just in the States, but otherwise, to live the life that they do.
Father says, especially with the war in the Holy Land, there is an urgent need to pray.
Praying for protection, praying for them, and again, asking God to pray for peace, asking the Blessed Virgin Mary, Queen of Peace, to intercede, and asking God, the Father, and Jesus and the Holy Spirit to change the hearts and minds of people for peace, for love, right? To love one another.
To love one another as Christ loves us. Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And we salute all our veterans. During this month, the high school youth at St. Elizabeth's Parish in Ludlow are caring for local veterans with a parish food drive for Thanksgiving. Nick Morganelli shares their good works with us.
gave us a whole list of all like the hours we could do, and this one just stuck out to me because I thought it was pretty cool that we could like just donate to the veterans and give them a meal for Thanksgiving.
These religious education students are volunteering to help their community, including Eliana, who chose this as her service hours for the Sacrament of Confirmation. Lisa and Ron Soloyo, St. Elizabeth's youth ministry leaders, saw an opportunity to deliver Thanksgiving in honor of Veterans Day and organized the effort through the St. Elizabeth congregation to meet this need.
When I reached out to, so it's Eric Segundo, he's the person in charge, he said they needed, the need is great.
Eric Segundo is the Veteran Services Director for the town of Ludlow. Each Massachusetts community has a Veteran Services office, and this one just got a new home recently, fully equipped with its own food pantry.
Food insecurity is a big issue across the country, but especially our veteran community. And with the high cost of everything going up, it makes it harder and harder for families to just be able to provide the basic necessities on the table. And some, depend on the weekly visits to this pantry to sustain their family for the week. So every little bit helps.
The Veteran Services Office provides a hot lunch once a month through the donations from their food pantry. This gentleman stopped in to make sure he was on the list this month.
We have two seatings, an 11:30 and a 12:30.
Yeah, so I want to do the 12:30.
12:30 is fine. I'll let her know.
It gives veterans an opportunity to get out of their house, socialize with other veterans, and for some, that may be the only time of the month that they get out and have a nice, warm meal. In a good social environment.
There's all kinds of treats packed in these bags. One of my favorites, Pizzelles. And it's everything you need for the Thanksgiving dinner as well. And the love and care that goes into this project starts with the donations first, and it ends with the students packing these bags for Thanksgiving and thanking our veterans.
My grandfather was in the Navy for 5 or 6 years. I gotta get the hours, but I think I also enjoy doing this for the community.
Danielle's heart gave her a reason to help as well.
My dad brought me here, but I don't know, I think it's important to help out with the church. I mean, they provide a bunch for us, so why not do the same for them? A lot of my family are veterans or are in the military. My uncle, who was in Vietnam, he almost got caught by the Vietnamese, and he told me, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Anytime we can give an opportunity to try to show them about giving back, my heart is in service, so that's what we try to do, is give them the experience. We can teach them a little bit about it, maybe get their heart in the right place, and the world would be a better place, right?
The food pantry at the Veteran Services Center in Ludlow is open Monday afternoons and Friday mornings, and you can reach them at 413-707-5050. God bless our military families, and we thank you for your service. Admiring our youth as they serve those who have served our nation, for Reel to Reel, I'm Nick Morganelli.
Great to see our young adults engaged in the community, and many parishes are collecting food for the Thanksgiving holiday. Still to come on Reel to Reel, Stations of the Cross at the Franciscan Missionary Sisters of Assisi in Holyoke received much needed repair thanks to a generous donor. And a 50-year employee of the Sisters of Providence, who also happens to be a Brightside baby, is honored for her years of service. It's all still to come on Reel to Reel.
Like Catholic TV on Facebook. Once you're there, you can join in on discussions, make friends with other Catholic TV fans, watch behind-the-scenes videos from the studio,
just finished this today,
and stay up to date with the Catholic world. All this at facebook.com/CatholicTV.
On our life's journey, as we seek purpose and connection, we are called to place our faith and trust in something greater than our own understanding. We are called by someone who already loves us and offers himself to us, Jesus Christ. His body given daily, his blood poured out for us. We never journey alone in life. Through the Eucharist, we encounter his real presence and others who share our faith. Together, we become one with him in his very flesh. And when we bring his presence out into the world, we can be light for others. This is the gospel call: to make disciples of all nations, laying down our lives for others. The time is now to unite our hearts with his for the life of the world.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Bishop William Byrne, inviting you to radiate the light of Christ by making a gift to the annual Catholic Appeal. The ministries and agencies supported with your generosity help thousands of our neighbors throughout Western Massachusetts. On behalf of the people we serve, thank you.
Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel News Briefs. This past week, the Catholic bishops of the United States gathered in Baltimore for their annual fall plenary assembly. Among the topics discussed were the use of technology in liturgy, including streaming of masses. The bishops also reviewed the recently concluded First Synod of Bishops at the Vatican, and they received an update to the teaching document, Faithful Citizenship. There was also discussion on the National Eucharistic Revival underway in the U.S. that will conclude with a Eucharistic Congress next July in Indianapolis. Also, the bishops held elections for the chairs of the various committees of the USCCB, and our very own Bishop William Byrne was elected as chair-elect of the Communications Committee. He will assume that role next year, and we congratulate Bishop Byrne on his new post. You can read more about this and all the happenings at the Fall Assembly online at iobserve.org. When the outdoor stations of the cross at the Franciscan Missionary Sisters of Assisi Convent in Holyoke were in desperate need of repair, it was through divine providence that an anonymous donor came forward. A woman who lost her daughter to substance abuse offered to finance the project in her daughter's memory. And late last month, the new stations were blessed. David Martin has our story.
Pilgrims brave the elements to attend the blessing of the new outdoor stations of the cross. Springfield Bishop William Byrne led a prayer service while members of religious congregations gave readings. Bishop Byrne orated a prayer of blessing, calling to God, reminding that Jesus was crucified and raised from the dead for the salvation of all, and asking God to share blessings and offer mercy to his believers.
To your faithful people, who devoutly recall the mysteries of Christ's passion, grant that those who follow his footsteps in bearing their cross patiently may receive their reward, as their reward the vision of Christ in his glory, for he lives and reigns with you forever and ever.
Amen. A reception also took place inside the convent for meeting and greeting. Franciscan Missionary Sister of Assisi, Teresa Muella, is pleased everyone can spend time outdoors praying and walking with Jesus at the new stations of the cross.
We consider ourselves to be like a small seed planted that is able to blossom. And when the people come here to pray for us, it's like an extension of our ministry. You know, when we are inviting them to come to own our property at any time, you know, without restrictions. So it's like we are reaching out through the Stations of the Cross. We are reaching out to the people of God.
Sister Muella shared that the anonymous donor wishes the Stations of the Cross will offer prayer intentions for those who are affected by alcohol and substance abuse. The anonymous woman worked with the Beavers Club of Western Massachusetts to engineer and build the new stations. The project took 2 weeks, first at a contractor shop in Chicopee to cut the lumber for crosses and houses that protect the icons which were donated. Week 2, they met at the Holyoke Convent to dig holes, mount the crosses, and apply the icons.
We're also proud that it's to do the work, but also knowing that the sisters do so much volunteer work for the community that if we can play any small part to help them help others, then we've done our job, and we've done our motto to our club is dedication to service.
Worshippers sang and followed Bishop Byrne as he sprinkled holy water on each station. The Franciscan sisters and members of the Beavers Club hope the new Stations of the Cross will offer comfort to those suffering from the effects of substance abuse, to bring them inner healing and peace. For Reel to Reel, I'm David Martin.
The Beavers Club was founded in 1945 to promote French solidarity and civic benevolence. And finally, coming off their Western Mass Class B championship victory, the Pope Francis girls soccer team had high expectations entering the state tournament. Steve Kiltonic highlights the Cardinals' tournament run.
The Pope Francis girls soccer team entered the Division III state tournament as one of 67 schools across the Commonwealth vying for the championship. Because of its number 5 power ranking, the Cardinals received a bye in the opening round before being paired against number 26 Tewksbury. The game was never in doubt as Pope Francis won handily 7-0, extending its shutout streak in the tournament to 4 games. Isabella Meadows continued her amazing postseason run with 4 goals, while Jordan Balin added 2. In the round of 16, the Cardinals played number 21 Archbishop Williams. Pope fell behind 1-0 at the half, but came storming back as Meadows scored early in the second half to tie the Bishops. With 10 minutes remaining, Myla Dillard lofted a corner kick toward the goal as Maeve Turmel headed it into the net for the eventual game winner, as called by the voice of the Cardinals, A.J. Gonsalves.
Dillard looking around, shot, they score! It's an own goal! It's an own goal, but they're going to give it to Maeve Turmel! It's Turmel at the closing minutes, and just like that, the Cardinals have a 2-1 lead over the Bishops!
The Cardinals advanced for the first time to the quarterfinals and the Elite Eight, where they took to the road to face 4th-ranked Norwell.
And it was a game that, right from the bat, you know it's going to be physical, you know that they're going to be technically sound, but we came out and we played. We played right with them.
Tied 2-2 after regulation, the game went into overtime.
And the girls gave everything that they had throughout the 2 10-minute overtimes. Eventually it went into PKs, and we were on the wrong side of history with that one.
The Cardinals finished 18-2, one of their best seasons ever. The 8 seniors had a remarkable 4-year run where they led Pope to victory in 51 games while losing only 4 and claiming 2 Western Mass titles.
We'll never be grateful enough for everything that they've done for us. To lead from ahead as seniors and have some of the younger players look up to.
With a strong nucleus returning next year, the Cardinals will look to three-peat in the Western Mass Tournament and advance even further in the state. In Springfield, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
Read more on these and other stories at iobserve.org, where you can find articles from our Catholic communication staff as well as on-demand episodes of Reel to Reel. That's iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and those were your Reel to Reel news briefs.
You are watching Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Rulier.
In other news, the people behind chatbots are asking questions of priests and ethicists rather than turning to their artificially intelligent creations. They want to know, what is consciousness? What is the nature of humanity? What is the purpose of life? Father Philip Larry, a professor of philosophy at Rome's Pontifical Lateran University, talks about the challenges and promises of artificial intelligence in this Catholic News Service piece.
In March, the artificial intelligence company OpenAI released the newest update to its conversation-generating software, ChatGPT-4. The launch was heralded by many for its human-like conversational style, uncanny ability to summarize complex ideas, and powerful problem-solving powers.
Artificial intelligence is a series of algorithms that use logical calculations to achieve programmed ends. As AI gets better and better, and it begins to simulate what human beings understand as understanding, people are getting very nervous. There are several potential catastrophic risks, and the first one is if this is used in the wrong hands. A malevolent actor specifically trying to misinform people, pass on wrong and mistaken data as if it were true, hacking. So the potential of this software being used in a bad way, I think, is tremendous.
Father Larey said that despite the risks, he remained optimistic that humanity would use AI responsibly and for its betterment.
I tend to be optimistic because I'm a priest, and as long as Jesus Christ doesn't come back in the second coming, he must be okay with what we're doing. There's still time. And I'm also optimistic because in my experience, human nature eventually wins over. Pope Francis speaks a lot about person-centered AI. He's insisting that you need to put the human person at the center of this technology. Silicon Valley is now throwing us questions which are philosophical in nature. They're asking, what is consciousness? What is the relationship between the mind and the brain? What is the nature of humanity? What is the purpose of life? And they're looking for guidance, and they're looking for support, and they're looking for some way to make this help people and not harm people. And a lot of people in San Francisco are interested in this, and they want us to participate. So we will.
And finally today, a story that will warm your heart. I recently visited Mary's Meadow in Holyoke, where the Sisters of Providence were honoring one of their longtime employees, Mary Gannett. Mary has been working for the SPs since 1973. That's 50 years, caring for patients, first at Mount St. Vincent Nursing Home and most recently at Mary's Meadow.
Do you need a cold drink now? Something cold to drink?
I have some coffee right there. I can't reach it right now. If I sit up, I could reach it. Otherwise, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. You're very welcome.
Each day, Mary Gannett, a certified nursing assistant at Mary's Meadow at Providence Place, brings a caring and compassionate presence to patients in the rehab unit of the Holyoke facility. She's been doing this since she was 16 years old, a high school student, first at Mount St. Vincent Nursing Home in Holyoke, and 3 years ago, after Mount St. Vincent changed hands, Mary came to work at Mary's Meadow. Recently, the Sisters of Providence honored their longtime employee during a special fall gathering. Sister Kathleen Popko, president of the order, told the group of employees and patients that Mary's life has been long intertwined with the sisters, as she was presented a beautiful blown glass trophy inscribed with 50 years of caring. Following the celebration, Mary talked about her bond with the Sisters of Providence that began at birth in 1957.
I was born at the Guild of the Holy Child. I was named after Sister Mary Adele, a Sister of the Providence, that was a close friend of my mother's, my birth mother's. I went to Brightside from the Guild of the Holy Child. I stayed there for a short time. I was a toddler when the mother that raised me and her sister volunteered there and brought me home from there. I wasn't adopted till I was 7 years old, but I went home with them. The sisters allowed me to go home with them because they knew they were good people and they had spent a lot of years volunteering down there to take care of the children.
From 1881 until the late 20th century, Brightside provided adoption services and cared for children in a group setting. The Fitzell family of Holyoke adopted Mary and another sister and went on to have 7 more children.
I was a chosen child. I was cherished. I was loved. I had everything, that a child could have.
While Mary was a young mother of 3 and working at Mount St. Vincent, a fellow employee happened to have the same last name as her birth mother. Through several connections, she was able to eventually meet her.
When I met her, she said that that she had made a vow to the Blessed Mother that if she felt in her heart that I had a good home, that she would never disturb my life. And she never did, so I looked her up.
Besides the gift of life, her birth mother gave Mary the cross that she still wears today.
This was one of the first things she gave me, so I got this when I was 30, and I wear it pretty much every day. I don't take it off. She picked it out for me, and it's been with me ever since.
Mary's birth mother and adoptive parents have since passed away, but their love for her, as well as the love from the Sisters of Providence, is evident and mutual, flowing from Mary to the people she cares for.
I think the Sisters' mission is what my life has been about. My life has been full of gratitude and blessings. And so to be good at what I do is just a small way of repaying both the Lord for providing for me and the sisters, for all that I've accomplished in life here.
One Sister of Providence, Sister Margaret McCleary, founder of Providence Ministries, is especially grateful for Mary.
Well, about 2 years ago, I was admitted to Mary's Meadow, and I was seriously ill. I was next to going to God, and I got to heaven and they locked the doors. But I came back, and Mary is the one who just took care of me and helped bring me to life. And here I am today. And I knew Mary's mother. I was at Brightside, Our Lady of Providence, when she was here. And her mother's DNA is in her mother that adopted her with such love. So I'll always be grateful. I'll always be grateful to Mary.
As well, sister.
For her love and her care. I was sick for a long, long time. I was here for months. And
it was my pleasure. To see her walk out the door was just such a miracle.
I couldn't walk.
We tell her she's our Mary's Meadow miracle.
And Sister Mary Caritas finishes the story saying that it was Providence that brought Mary to the Sisters of Providence, for which they are all very grateful.
She really is the heart and soul of Mary's Meadow. She's just so kind to patients, and she does anything she possibly can to help them. So she's just a wonderful, wonderful person. We've been blessed. Imagine 50 years of service as when she was at Mount St. Vincent. I knew she was one of ours. I say that about the Sisters of Providence all the time. Once we get somebody, we don't let them go.
Congratulations, Mary. What a hardworking and super caring person. The Sisters of Providence and all of the patients she's cared for are so lucky to have her. And for this week, that's Real to Real. To keep up with the latest news on the Catholic Church here in Western Massachusetts and around the world, head over to iobserve.org, your one stop for Catholic news. You can find articles written by our Catholic communications staff and from reporters with Our Sunday Visitor. That's iobserve.org, and we are also on Facebook at Catholic Communications. And finally, a programming update. Starting next Saturday, November 25th, Real to Real will be returning to its normal time of 7 p.m. on Saturday evenings. The only exception will be on Christmas Eve, Sunday, December 24th, when we will be seen at 6:30 a.m. right here on 22 News WWLP. And I will see you next week at this same time for Real to Real, your window on the world around you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Real to Real is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.